that, he already feels bad enough that I'm the breadwinner. What guy would say, it's okay if you lose my money? Okay, because you feel bad about staying home. So you can just go ahead and invest it however you want. There isn't a guy on earth that would say that. And I see Corinne laughing, right? She's going, nobody with no man would say that. But that's what we do because we're trying to, maintain the relationship. And there's things that you can do to not do that. So let me give you my top 10 tactics to get rich. Number one, have a financial goal. Okay. And I know that Karine will be talking to you about this too. Number two, get advice from professionals. It has to be high on your list to get advice from professionals. Have money in your own name. Now, this is something that somebody who put comments in the chat mentioned, is that their parents said, you need to have your own money. I can tell you horror stories of women who turned their money over to their husbands to invest, and the husbands kept them everything in their own name. And then when something happened, like the husband died or they got divorced or whatever it was, the woman had no money. Tell you this quick story. My own physician, her husband was also a physician, and she just turned the money over to him to invest. Then they decide they're going to get a divorce. And when she goes to look for where's the money, she can't find it. He has somehow hidden all the money from her for all these years. Now, this was an older woman too. She was probably in her 70s when she was telling me this. And so she had intended to retire by now. She said, I can't retire. My husband hid all the money. We don't know where it is. And I didn't have my name on it. You better make sure you have money in your name. Okay. One of the things that I recommend, and this is very simple, and I do it myself. If you're married, you have 3 accounts. You have your account, you have your partner's account, and then you have the joint account. The joint account is for all the joint expenses. And that may be things like food, vacations, rent, the child's education, anything that's a joint expense. But you each put your own paychecks into your own account, and then you contribute to the joint account. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly equal, that you're both putting $1,000 a month into this joint account. It may be that maybe your partner earns more, so your partner puts more in, or it could be you earn more, so you put a little bit more in. But you need to have that separate money that you can invest on your own and have in your own name. Okay. Next, negotiate everything, especially salary. This is where women really fall short. When you get your very first job, you don't negotiate hard enough for your salary. And as a result, women's salaries tend to be less than men from the get-go. So that within, say, 5 years, men are earning significantly more than you because they started with a leg up. And so you need to learn how to negotiate, especially for salary. And if you don't know how, I know that the VASE is going to do a negotiation skills class, right, Tatenda?
Dr. Lewis, definitely. That is coming in the first quarter. We should be having a negotiation skills class. We'll share the information once it's ready.
Excellent. So be on the lookout. Get onto the VASE website, sign up for their emails, sign up for their newsletters so that you know when that negotiation skills class is. I don't expect you to know how to negotiate if you've never been taught. It's like anything else. It's a skill. Carries, I think you don't have credit cards in Zimbabwe. From what I understand, you don't have credit cards. But for those of you who may be, dialing in from somewhere else, 0 credit card debt. Credit card debt is wasted money because the more you put on that card, the more you're paying in interest. And interest is a total waste of money. Unless it's to buy a house, something that's tangible and that will appreciate. But when you put those shoes on a credit card and you pay for them over time, that doesn't appreciate. That's just a total waste of money, that interest. So you buy what you can buy. Or if you have a credit card, now I do this. I put stuff on the credit card all the time because I want the points, right? Because so I can travel more. But then I pay it at the end of every single month. There's never anything carried from month to month. So keep that in mind. Create financial boundaries with others. There's a typo there. It should be with others. Make sure, like when you go out to lunch with friends, you're not always the one paying. Don't be afraid to say, let's go Dutch today. Or don't be afraid to say, let's split the bill. Or better yet, I have friends who do this. I'm never as good at doing this, but I have friends when the server comes over, they'll say, put all this on separate bills so that that's how they create financial boundaries. So they make sure that they're not paying for somebody else's lunch if they eat more. See, that's the thing about women. Once they get the bill, they start looking and go, well, this one ate this much and this one ate this much. You know what? It's easier to just create the boundaries in the beginning. And you do the same with your children. You do the same with your partner. You do it with your friends and with your family. You create financial boundaries. You say, if there's a black tax, this is what I can afford and still have money left over for me. Seek and pursue investment opportunities with or without others. Think big, okay? I want you to think bigger. If you think that you can retire, I'm just going to throw out a number, on $100,000, double that. Say, no, I need $200,000. And that's what the goal is going to be, because you will achieve exactly what you aim for. Aim low, you're going to achieve low. Okay, learn everything you can about money and set a gift giving budget. See, this is a big thing. A lot of times women, because other people give them gifts, they'll think they have to equal them or top them. Set a gift giving budget. Or better yet, do what I do with my friends. I say, no gifts. We all want experiences. Maybe we'll go together for a nice lunch, or maybe we'll go on a trip together, but no gifts. But if you are going to give gifts, make sure you put it in your budget and you stick to it and follow your dream. I think when we do the things that we love to do, there is a book I think it's called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. And I think there's some truth to that. When we do what we love, we're willing to do more of it. We're willing to spend more time on it. We're willing to give it our all. And as a result, that investment pays off for us. I'm going to pause for a minute here and see either to Tenda or Mercy, are there any questions in the chat box or comments?
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Lewis. There is one question from Naledi. It says, what's the best way to manage finances conjointly with your partner?
Managing finance conjointly with my partner, that's the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay.
What's the best way to do that?
Okay, so as I said, you're going to have 3 accounts, one joint one individually, and then you're going to sit down with a financial planner and you're going to talk about what do we need to do to invest, how much do we need, and how do we put it in both of our names, and how do we both have access to managing it. So it's a matter of communication. Investing and managing money with your partner is a huge amount of communication. It's about talking about it. Okay, if you're not talking about it with your partner, something's wrong, because then you don't know what's going on. And you want to be involved in discussions with financial planners, with bankers, with whoever. You make yourself a partner in the process. And if your partner says, oh, don't worry about it, I've got this, you know what? Start worrying. And you say, oh, you know what? It's not that I don't trust you. It's that if something were to happen, I want to also know how to take care of myself. Because I've seen that happen too. It happened to my cousin. Her husband was very wealthy, young guy, maybe 50 years old. And he just dropped dead on the tennis court one day. She had no idea where the money was, where it was invested. She had no idea. They spent a lot of money, but she had no idea about any of this. And so in addition to grieving, she had to get up to speed on this. You don't want that. You want to be up to speed. Mercy, what else you got?
At the moment, that's all, Dr. Lewis, but thank you so much. I think that's quite a pertinent issue. And your advice is appreciated there. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Now, Karina's going to talk to you about this also. This is my favorite quote. Okay, I just focus on this in my own life. And it's from the German philosopher Goethe. And he says, until one is committed, there's hesitance, the chance to draw back. But the moment one commits oneself, then providence moves too. Okay. So once you commit to what you're going to do, all kinds of worlds open up to you. You start seeing things that are on the periphery that you never would have seen before. And Corinne is actually going to help you do your own action plan, which is going to be really great. And finally, I want to leave you with this thought. And I'm going to stay on the line, but I want to leave you with this thought for me. If you could do me a favor, my book, Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office, the 20-year update is coming out on March 3rd. It is totally updated. There's all new stuff in it. I have a whole chapter that's called Rookie Mistakes, for example. These are mistakes you make when you're new on a job or new to the workplace. I have a whole chapter on self-care, how to take better care of yourself. None of this was in the other book. So if you will go in, here's a deal for you. Here's something where you could make an investment in yourself. If you'll pre-order the book before March 3rd, and you can pre-order it anywhere on Amazon, wherever you buy books. If you pre-order and you send me the receipt, I'll enter you into a contest to win a 6-month coaching program with me. And that coaching program is worth $20,000. I mean, that's what we charge our clients, $20,000 for a 6-month coaching program. So you make an investment in a book, send me the receipt, and you can send it just to info@drloisfrankel.com, info@drloisfrankel.com, and I'll enter you into the contest. And then I'll announce the winner at the end of maybe March 5th or March 6th, something like that. So I think it's a win-win for us. And that's where I'm going to leave it. And who do I turn it over to?
Before you step over, Dr. Lewis, there's only one last question. There's a question around how to align contentment with wanting more. I think that question came out a lot in the first segment where a lot of people are asking, how do we align contentment with wanting more?
Oh, that's a great question. How do I align contentment with wanting more? Well, I think, doesn't contentment come from being fulfilled? I mean, nobody's asked me this question before, so I just need to think out loud for a second. Contentment comes from being fulfilled. And how can I be content if I'm always worried about how I'm going to pay the bills, where the next paycheck is coming from, how I'm going to put my kid through college, how am I going to fix my car if it breaks down or buy a new one? I can't possibly be content if I don't have a sense of security. So when you talk about how do I align contentment with wanting more, I think that's exactly how you align it, which is I have to have a baseline of, I'm going to call it plenty, okay, because that's what I call it. Do I have plenty? Do I have plenty enough to do all those things? Pay the bills and not worry. Put my kid through college, not worry. Do I have a backup in case my car breaks down or I get sick or one of the kids gets sick? I can't be content if I don't have that. So it's not about wanting more for the sake of wanting more. It's wanting more for the sake of achieving contentment. Okay, and I think that's how I would align that. That's how I think that works. Does that make sense? Did I answer that question? For the person who asked the question, could you put in the chat whether I answered you or not?
Yes, it did, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, excellent. No other questions?
No other questions in the chat, Dr. Lewis. Thank you so much. I am already preparing to pre-order your books, so I do not miss that chance to get the 6-month coaching as well. So guys, I encourage you to do that. The race is on. Thank you so much. Lady Chari says, thank you, makes so much sense. So thank you, Dr. Lewis, for that. We are now going to transition to the second session, but before we do that, we're going to take a 5-minute comfort break. I encourage you to reflect on what Dr. Lewis has said. After the break, you're still welcome to ask her questions in the chat line, and she will answer for us as well. So see you back, guys, in 5 minutes. Thank you.